Good afternoon, everybody. This is Susan Cook with Rialto Academy and eXp Realty. And today, John Pohly, tech guru, author, speaker, coach, just all around, knows his way around the internet and all of these things that confuse me, I know. Thank you, John, for coming today and speaking with us. Thanks for taking time out in your busy day. I know it's a busy day for you. Why don't you just tell us a little bit how you got where you are today?
I've always been fascinated with technology, putting together computers in the 80s and this thing called the internet in the 90s, and then getting my real estate license, but continuing that passion with technology alongside it. So before we got into modern day mobile phones and Facebook and all these other things that I'm pretty well known for, it all started for me when I first got my real estate license around 2000. And my early years, I was working with home builders, being the lowest on the totem pole. I didn't get my choice of neighborhoods. So as you can imagine, it was in Dallas, Fort Worth, Metroplex. And there's an outskirt town called Denton, Texas, which is now today a pretty big town. I didn't even get that town. I got like way, way far north of there, a little town called Crum, Texas, Krum, 2,000 people. It actually less than 2,000 people when I got there, one stop sign town. And I'm a technology guy. They put me in the middle of a wheat field. No streets are carved out yet. No electricity, no internet. I'm going crazy out there. And I already have a sales quota I got to hit. I got floor plans, and I got no traffic, and I got no signs, and I got no billboards. So what did I do? I went on an adventure around town. What is the history of this town? What can I tell people when I finally talk to someone who drives way out here to buy a house or look at a house? Mm-hmm. So that was my early start, and that set the stage of nothing was given to me. I had to embrace a town that every single salesperson at the builder said, you go take that job in Crum, Texas. It's the end of your career. You're done.
Wow.
Goodbye. And every single salesperson passed on that job in Crum, Texas. So I'm in town, and I'm trying to make the most of it. And I'm a young guy in my 20s, and they got the Lions Club. So I joined the Lions Club, and I was like 5 decades younger than everyone else in the Lions Club. But it was cool. I loved hanging with those folks, got to know a lot of them. I started going to the city council meetings, learning about the planning and zoning. I'm living out here too, Crum, Texas. So no social life for me. I'm having a ball going to the city council meetings, and that's kind of what we did. There were 4 places to eat in the town. One was a pizza parlor with a pool table. One was a tanning salon / ice cream shop / sandwich shop all together. And I got to know the owners of these. One was a gas station that had fried chicken, really good fried chicken. We had one that only had 2 parking spaces. It was known for the thick pork chops, and only open 1 day a week for 4 hours. Called Muds, and they had awesome dessert menu. So that's where, the whole thing that I've been known for the last 15 years is building these advanced conversion funnels and these technology and these robots and all this automation. But it started with no technology. Mm-hmm. In order for me to sell, I had to believe in this town, and I had to believe in the people, and I had to believe in the rich history of that town. I did not, other people that would come out there and try to sell with me, they would say, well, you can't live here. There's no trees. Nothing can grow here or other than wheat. And I had a railroad track, half mile that way and a half mile that way. Mm-hmm. And everyone's objection was, well, railroads, who's going to want to live in a community with railroads? That's why Crum, Texas was the wheat capital of the world. So I started building the story, building the narrative. Obviously, 1,978 humans decided to settle there. I was number 1,976, and I embraced it. And with everything that I've taught the last 15 years with building these funnels, people are going to see through. If you're a fake, cheesy salesperson and you're just on a script and you don't believe in what you're actually doing and you're not enjoying it, they will see through it. So I came up with the word freemium, a free giveaway that I could have if anyone ever visited my trailer in the middle of nowhere on, here are 5 things you can do in this city. And it was always got, a belly laugh and just, you're kidding me. There's 5 things to do here. And I highlighted it was called the top 5 things to do in Crum. So this is my free giveaway. This is what I've taught for over 15 years since I became an instructor while still doing real estate. You start opposite of every other salesperson, every other real estate agent. This applies to business. Everybody is going for that quick sales pitch. You're either ready right now or I don't care about you. Nurture is not even a word in their vocabulary. And you give them something for free. I take this so serious, Susan. I test this out like every Sunday. I go into Costco, and that's sample day at Costco. And I try to resist. I put whatever food sample they're giving. It is such a psychological reciprocal effect of you get free food from someone. And now you load a bunch of boxes of that food in your shopping cart. It's nothing new that I have created. I've just applied it to the internet early on. So the secret to my success is systematically building a nurture system. I call it a funnel, from contribution, from giving away something that really shows off your personality, your expertise in whatever it is. For me, it was the top 5 things, the 4 businesses in Crum, and then number 5, come talk to John Pohly at Ryland Homes and view the beautiful model homes. And that was the thing to do. And I didn't mind if there were looky-loos coming out. You hear a lot of people today complain, oh, they're just kicking the tires. I wanted cars parked in front of my model home because it looked like I had people I was actually talking to. So in the funnel, and that everyone who's tuning in today, or you watch this as an archive, you're going to get a free copy of my book, shows you how to do this, a workbook where you can actually write out your audience, but it starts with, who is your minimal viable audience? If you haven't had an audience, you're new to real estate, then you're going to guess who is my target audience. If you've been in real estate and you got 10 transactions, that's your minimal viable audience. And what you look at is 3 things. You look at, what is their problem? Number 2, what is part of the answer? And when I look at what is their problem, and your audience is never going to be, oh, it's just sellers, and yeah, I'm done with this exercise. If you don't drill down to a ridiculous level of the size of family, here's where they live, here's where they have community, here's where their kids play sports. If you can't drill down that, then you're not going to be able to present the product in the right way, or positioning of yourself as a real estate agent or business owner to match that. So I like to look at, what is their problem? If they're a family, it's not every 7 years got to move on average. It's they got kids. Kids are out of school during the summer. What are they going to do with these kids? Because they have 2 working people leaving the house. What are they going to do with these kids? How are they going to afford that? So some of my favorite free giveaways are places for kids to eat for free. Mm-hmm. Best swimming holes in Austin, Texas. And the neat thing about this versus I had to go create that thing in Crum, Texas, top 5 things to do. Now we got title companies that provide this kind of information free to us as real estate agents, because we're not competing against each other. We're allied resources.
Mm-hmm.
So almost every title company in almost every state should have a branded relocation guide or things to do in your area. And if it's not that, then maybe it's a Chamber of Commerce or the Lions Club or the Planning and Zoning Commission. My point is, don't let lack of creativity or fear of creating something stop you. Leverage the free content. Leverage it out there. And if you are at home now or whenever you watch this, spell the word funnel and write it vertical. The acronym for funnel, the first word is the freemium. We're going to give away something for free. When we do that, and what I was doing in that first neighborhood, there was a thing called MySpace that existed before Facebook.
Yes.
So that was it. That was like the social media hotspot. And I had a software program that would go out and give away a free ticket to my community event where, as master chef, I had hot dogs and hamburgers and cheeseburgers every week. And my goal was, if I could get them into my neighborhood, I had a chance to sell houses. I was located far north of Denton, Texas. They had a college in Denton, Texas called the University of North Texas. They're a music school. Great musicians. Really the second capital of music in Texas, Denton, Texas. And some of my initial sales, my minimal viable audience were parents of college kids who's they were attending the music school. So now I have this built-in band inside of this neighborhood with 500 home sites. I'm cooking hot dogs. I got college kids coming out with their friends. They're creating this sense of community where there was none. It was a wheat field with no streets and me in a trailer. Now we got model homes. I used every one of my first 10 sales as my minimal viable audience. So I sold a house to a military veteran, retired. I hired his wife to be my first marketing admin greeter. And now me as a 20 something kid, I could now relate to an older demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And I could relate to military veterans and pulled them into the community, and they loved it and they participated. And then my second cell, they were from Bolivia. They came in fluent, as you can imagine, Spanish. They loved it. They loved the community. They came in, and I hired the wife to be my marketing coordinator. And now I'm bilingual. I just added another, and no one told me to do this, but my dad, I'm a third generation real estate agent. Zig Ziglar was a deacon at my church. Wow. And I grew up with the cassette tapes playing in my head, all these sales tapes over and over again. And somehow it just clicked at that point in time. And it's like 20 years of brainwashing is just taking over this little town.
Zig Ziglar, I tell you what, has trained more salespeople in the industry to do sales the right way than any other sales trainer out there. And
love it.
I mean, his words and wisdom will last.
Timeless.
Will last us.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean,
that's for sure.
I think I have one of his quotes on my bio, and I was brought up on it too when I first joined real estate 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And listen to his CDs, because at that time, CDs in my car, the Auto University.
Yes. So one of my favorite stories about Zig Ziglar, he is a door-to-door salesperson. I think it was vacuum cleaners at a time. And he's going around, and his entry point to get literally get his foot in the door. They open the door and he throws like a handful of dirt on their floor. And he has the vacuum cleaner. Hey, I want to show this vacuum cleaner. I'm going to help clean that up. And that was his foot in the door. Worked until he went to one that said, sir, we don't have electricity. And he had just thrown dirt in the front door. So whatever it is, that kind of method is timeless. My foot in the door as an introvert, getting a few initial sales, doing the technology thing on MySpace. I knew if I could give them a free ticket to a cookout with a live event and some excitement and face painting and just balloons and fun things, didn't cost me much money. That was my Zig Ziglar trick. I got them into the community, and now my conversion rate was through the roof. Mm-hmm. Then focusing on that minimal viable audience, and you start to learn about them and what their struggles, and not just real estate. You learn that they're working at Sally Beauty Supply and then working overtime at this, or they're working at Peterbilt. And now you're not waiting for permission to become the relocation expert for Fortune 500 Peterbilt or another employer, Sally's Beauty Supply. You just became the HR director, in my opinion. You do not wait for permission. You use that as your entry point. And I don't understand someone who's been in business for a year that's not already at 30% referral rate. Every single point during that process, you and I, Susan, were at a presentation from a fellow real estate agent at EXP, Julie Nelson. Don't use, they're in transaction, I'm showing homes, and then it's this closing phase and option period. And then, okay, now once it's successfully closed, now I can ask for a referral at that moment in time at the title company. And then I'll wait 7 years until they need another house. I knew that I was providing a great service there, and I deserved at the customer service level to ask that question every single time that they came back out. Mm. And we should do that now, today, and with technology. It should be the signature line of our email. It should be on a testimonial page of our website. It should be everything. And in my book, Susan, that all of your listeners will get a copy of, it's an updated version of my 2013 book when I finally put this strategy on paper. It's called Skip Funnels. If we can skip to a conversation at any point during the initial process of freemium, and then it goes upsell and newsletter, at any time, they need an easy button where they can get a hold of us, schedule on our calendar, have a Facebook Messenger chat. We need to be real people now and not hide behind a clever website or a clever funnel. And I've built some pretty awesome funnels, but I'm really showing how old I am when I say things like MySpace and AOL and constant contact newsletter. It doesn't matter what the technology is. And I meet great agents that miraculously run a great business with no web presence, hardly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything that we put out there marketing, you need to think about how many clicks, how difficult is it for someone to get from here, decide they want to use me. Am I making them click 3 different times to get to a contact us form, to fill out a doctor's visit office level of, why not put your phone number on everything? And actually, for compliance reasons, in the age of transparency, which is Facebook, it became transparent. I mean, it's in our face every day. And we see Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress and all these things going on. And we have got to become transparent now more than ever. Technology, I think, has taken us in the wrong direction. It has separated us from community, and it's just such a core component of humans. They want to be connected. They want to be part of a tribe with like-minded, and internet in some ways has brought some of us together in that. Mm-hmm. But if we feel isolated in our own homes, it's up to us as real estate agents, as business professionals, to stand out in the rain like yesterday, and kids are putting on their costumes and coming around for candy. who am I, real estate agent, local business owner, to hide in my house and not, I mean, this is the highlight of these kids in this month. It comes across so much more. We're talking about broadband video a few years ago. Now more often than not, everyone in America, United States and Canada at least, have broadband, and video is front and center. Facebook video. We all remember the ice bucket challenge and how viral that went. That was really the first that something like that was on video on a platform media where it was all like the 1980s again. Did you see that Super Bowl commercial, or did you see, the 3 news stations? Yeah, you definitely saw it. That was like,
it was that Kiki.
Yeah.
And there was a South Carolina or North Carolina dinner. Viral and was on the Steve Harvey show, for gosh sakes.
Yes.
Now he has all these followers simply because he did the Kiki challenge.
And there's a real estate agent in New York too that did his take on it. It's got, you take something, there's a book out there called Newsjacking, where you take something that is newsworthy, that it's either trending, or us as real estate agents know, because we go to the planning and city council meetings and the zoning, we know what's about to happen before it happens.
Yes, we do.
And in the book, the tactic is you get in front of the media, you beat the traditional newspaper and TV, and you do that reporting early on, because when it becomes a trending topic and you're the first one there, guess who the traditional media is going to reach out to? So another tactic I used back in the day of pre-Web 2.0 social media, there was a big undeveloped corner in Denton, Texas, the largest undeveloped corner that they'd had in like over 20 years. Longhorn cattle grazing out there. It was a landmark. I noticed when they started moving dirt on that to start researching, go to the planning and zoning, because somebody had just sold the family ranch there that was just acres and acres and acres with everything built up around it. And you got the Longhorn cattle. So I was about 18 months early on that, did all the research, found out what it was called, who the developer was, built a website for it, did press releases, everything, knowing that when it hit, I would be the only media in town, actually north of there in that smaller town, but I would be the expert. And my goal in Little Crum, Texas, was to get real estate agents, when I worked for the builder, to drive their clients north to this perceived dead town, see how lively it was, since I'd sold 100 houses in my first like 18 months. Wow. And so I'm reporting this, and now they're coming into town, and now they got the big signs on the undeveloped corner. They got the fancy website. I had my website, and I get a call from the developer saying, is this John Pohly? I'm the developer of Razor Ranch, but it sounds like you're the person I need to talk to. He said, I really am going to depend on the real estate community to help. We have a mixed residential, commercial. It's the town center concept. I got to meet with him and his team and his marketing team, and I got to be the one. I'm just this little salesperson for this builder in Little Crum, Texas. And I got to present to the entire real estate community at my 3 model homes. The developers came out there. We had a realtor luncheon, and I got to make the introduction to the biggest land development in the bigger city to 300 real estate agents. That, I mean, forget about advertising, billboard, little fancy MySpace robot. That helped me close out that community in record time. That was a game changer because of something, I mean, that you said it was trending. And I got contacted by the traditional TV and newspaper and Denton Record Chronicle, and they're quoting me. And now I'm raising to a celebrity status that I'm a connector. I'm not just a real estate agent. I am in the know for everything happening there. And then that launched my real estate career and my mortgage career. And then I get a call from Austin, Texas, from this company called Keller Williams. They're an international office, and they love my TV commercials. Those were the exact words. TV commercials. I never did a TV commercial, but that was the effect of video in 2005 with this thing called YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They watch it there, and it looks just like what they see on TV. And from that point on, taking that job at the international office, that's what brought me to where I am today, Austin, Texas. Great career at that company, great opportunity. Timing was impeccable. I mean, literally the 2008 recession, I was employed with a steady job down there teaching and training and documenting their technology at the international office for Keller Williams at the time of that recession. And I just looked at that as, this is an educational opportunity. I'm going to get as smart as I can in this real estate, true real estate side of the business, from
Mm-hmm.
data to syndication. I've seen Zillow go from non-existent to what they are today. And I've seen a lot of people try and come into the industry, and kind of my role, if you look at what I've been doing probably for the last 7 years of training, I see now more than ever going into 2019, it has always been about, you got the broker technology, and they're designing something for their average agent, and their average agent is closing 12 deals a year. You got the mega agents that have the bigger budget and top of the line, and they're going outside of broker for their technology. With the technology companies, then they're graded by how many leads do you get, how many leads do you get, how many, not quality, but how many leads. So you have these software companies designing their systems to get a unit, a metric, a lead. You have the brokers designing for their minimal audience, their most likely client, but you got this big gap in the middle. You got the awesome software that can handle internet leads and runs on autopilot, but doesn't have a lot of personality. And a client going to the site doesn't really see your brand and who you are. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to be desired with even the best systems out there. I'm talking about a Boomtown, Commissions Inc., a KV Core.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got the brokers that in this day and age, and the turnover that is typical with any broker, they are looking at what is our value prop to agents, meaning that how do we design a company or a package or incentive where they're not going to want to leave. And if they're looking at that software as, this is going to be the hook, this is what's going to keep the agent in there, I got to tell you, there's a gap in the middle. And where the gap is where I started my career. No budget, no technology, in a wheat field. It's the passion that comes from the agent and their expertise and the things that only they can create or know to put on their website. The gap is basically the funnel in the middle. Mm-hmm. When you're trying to connect advanced software with broker, there are things that we just need a landing page for, or we just need a way to create a top 10 list and turn this into this PDF, but how do we get it to the client? Or in the state of video, how do we create a video and actually deliver it? If you've ever tried, I know, Susan, you've tried this, explaining to an agent how they can send video through email when you and I both know you can't send video through email. And you got to take a screenshot of the video player, and then you got to put a hyperlink, and then you have to go land it on a landing page or blog, or we mentioned blog, and now all the eyes in the training room are rolling into the back of the agent heads. You said blog.
A lot of their eyes will roll back in there. Yes. You mentioned websites and platforms and how the people in the middle are not quite connecting.
Yeah.
So this is something that's near and dear to my heart, with KV Core and some of the trainings that I've been doing. So in the training that I had yesterday, and you also mentioned Julie. So incorporated some of the things that Julie has said in her book, Success Faster. Let's give her a little plug out there because her book is fantastic.
It is.
And I happen to think that book is going to be the book to read in our industry.
I right when I came back from the convention, I ordered her workbook.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the workbook because you really commit things to learning and memory when you're physically writing down and not typing on a keyboard or not evernoting a presentation or not audible. Her message is so timeless. It's something that you should not only do right now in your career, but as a benchmark every quarterly, if you're a new agent.
Absolutely. But she talks about referrals. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to a coaching client today, and he was talking about the opportunity of agent to agent referrals. I don't think that agents even think about the agent to agent referral opportunities that we have in this digital age. It's amazing the things that we can accomplish today.
For the past 5 years, I've been known as the FB secret agent.
Mm-hmm.
I've won lead generation contests and a lot of prize money by being the best at that. And on your agent referral topic, one of my favorite ads to run on Facebook, and by the way, I've rebranded myself as the transparent agent just because of all the scrutiny, and I could talk.
Where's the new hat? I want to see the new hat.
Oh, I got it around here somewhere. I'll have it on my 2:00.
Okay.
Webinar.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about your new book that's coming out too? Because I love this topic, and you know, you and we chatted for 2 hours the other day just about this. You know, so
actually, a good example would be that agent to agent referral.
Mm-hmm.
My new book is called Skip Funnels, because even though I think you need all 7 of these stages. I've adjusted my funnel. You have engagement at the top, but then it's freemium, upsell, newsletter, nurture, expand market, lifetime client, my entire business, the Costco example, everything in Crum, Texas, Keller Williams, everything I've built. I go through that checklist. I recently added engagement at the top. That is our protection in this industry of complaints. If we're engaging at the top, that means they're getting to know us. Hopefully you're using video in your business. But if we're engaging at the top, giving contribution and great things and being on social media like this is an example. Susan, you're introducing me to an audience. I might be introducing you to an audience that hasn't seen you before. And we cannot be afraid of the camera. I was for a long time. I hosted 1,000 webinars before I ever turned the video camera on. And my last 500 webinars have had the camera on. The last 500 webinars during that business period, it has got way more business than I can ever handle. And that's why I like webinars like this. And this is a very efficient way of teaching and training, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll find where this is on Facebook and I'll put a link below there, and it's going to have access, because the new book and the new training is more than anyone could consume or even think about implementing. But you just need to hear it over and over again, kind of like Julie's book, Success Faster. Basic principles. But if you put it next to your computer, I got a document I'll show you from the workbook.
From your new workbook.
I have a workbook that will be coming out soon. But it looks like this. So you start with engagement. So with every marketing piece, postcards, business cards, flyers, spot on TV, newspaper, is it in a place that really allows you to engage? And how can we get them from the longer process of the funnel and managing over $1 million in Facebook advertising for over 100 real estate agents? I can tell you the biggest mistake when I first meet with real estate teams is They have been running ads before they met me. They're going to some landing page software because someone told them that's what they're supposed to do. They're missing the important things like putting their phone number on the advertisement itself, because there's entire age groups and demographics and just personal preference at any given time, depending on where you are in the cycle of looking for a home or needing a home. They just want to have the option to call you right then and not go through some registration. So in the book, we show you through the 7 phases. Ideally, I want them to engage. I want them to have their freemium developed, whether that be a video, a checklist, maybe an admin. Maybe you're an admin of a Facebook group and that's your freemium. Or maybe it's like me with $5 in my pocket, flat broke right after 9/11, and I'm selling houses in Crum, Texas in the middle of a wheat field with no electricity and no computer. And the best I can do is scribble down 5 things to do in Crum, Texas, but it works. It worked. That freemium goes to an upsell. In modern day technology, when they opt in for the download of a PDF, we like it to take them to a page where it's a video. We've all seen the late night infomercials. You need to develop your message, your infomercial. And the challenge is you got to have that under 2 minutes. You got to hit 3 unique value positioning statements. After you go through the exercise in my book about identifying your audience, what is their problem, and then can you supply part of the answer, it's going to follow in line with whatever they downloaded. The download was, did you ever read the book, E-Myth Mastery?
Yes.
That book is brilliant. Didn't it agitate the problems that you already got? I mean, that if you look at how that book is written, that book was written knowing that they would stir up and bring to light the problems that you already have in your business. That's kind of like not to say that's always the purpose of a freemium, but sometimes your freemium, like in Texas, we have a thing called the Homestead Redemption Act, where each year by a certain date, we can have our homestead exemption. And this is great for new homeowners. They do it once, they fill out this form, and then it exempts them from a certain amount of property taxes. Providing that as a freemium kind of agitates and says, okay, once they've downloaded that, they're aware that they're paying a lot of taxes every year. So your agitation in that, hey, I'm the expert. This is the time of year where you can contest your property taxes. That's kind of a follow-up or an upsell. That's your foot in the door for future listing presentation, building that relationship now. Every upsell after that, a small percentage will, like me, put those Costco pizzas and everything in the basket. I'm going to reward that freemium. My wife hates it that I go to Costco that often because it blows the budget. But because they did that, we have them now in a newsletter, a follow-up. Almost all of you with your broker software have some kind of email where you drop leads into a newsletter. I'm a big fan of blogging. By having a blog, you could have content and just snippets in an email. But most email templates will allow you to build in a few consistent calls to action. And I call that the second N of funnel, the nurture. Download my mobile app. What is my house worth? Listings in MLS available in the last 7 days. Evergreen. Doesn't matter if they open the email the day that you sent it or 2 years from now. You'll still have the same mobile app, hopefully, because you're at the same broker, or you will still have those same buttons that go to the pages on your website.
You brought up a word that I heard yesterday, evergreen.
Okay, evergreen is more important now. I use a software program called BombBomb. Yes, I still have people opening my emails from 4 years ago. And fortunately, I knew to not use whatever like temporary domain, like your long-standing domains. It doesn't matter if you're going to have them now or you change broker, they're going to follow you. Be real cognitive of that with everything that you send out, that somebody's not going to read it within the next day. So it's name of the game is always keep your brand, always keep your cell phone numbers as you move through. But evergreen means that anything you send an email, make sure that it's good. So if you're talking about listings, sure, you may have a specific listing that you're promoting right now. But if you're linking from that email newsletter to your featured property page of your website, even when you sell that listing, they click on that, they'll still see, oh, you're still a very active real estate agent. That listing obviously would be gone a year from now, but they still click on those emails and they're curious.
Well, with evergreen videos, it was a bomb training that I heard that in. And with evergreen videos, you can record things like happy anniversary on your home, happy birthday, happy birthday to your dog, or I just want to give you a little market update. Here's something that happened in the market today, and send it by text or email from your phone to all of your contacts or to selected contacts. You can do that through Gmail as well. I happen to believe that text is working a lot better than other modalities these days, because we are inundated. Anywhere where everybody else is using it, you're going to be, you're going to get lost in the shuffle.
And that's a great
video through text.
Technique. Yes.
Video through text. And a freemium could be like Market Stats. In my area in Virginia, we may get, some pretty big employers. And you mentioned that earlier about becoming the HR manager for Peterbilt.
You don't wait for permission.
Don't wait for permission. These guys are already building data centers out here. Amazon Web Services has already employed 10,000 people in Loudoun County alone.
Wow.
So you've got the customs. Customs is coming, and my Alexa is going off in the background because I mentioned its name.
That's funny.
I changed the name to Amazon.
all these things. If you implement just one company and you say, okay, I am Mr. Peterbilt, I am Mr. Sally's Beauty Supply, I am Mr. Crumb, Texas, it'll get to the point where the persuasion is happening, which is like step number 5 of the traditional funnel, the E, the expand market. When your people coming into this newsletter and you're rewarding and you're giving content consistent with what you originally gave them, plus community info, and real estate will always be hyper local, they will expand the market for you. If they know what your cell phone is or text code or website, they will do it. They'll share it on social media. It's the best thing to run the business this way because it's legally. The global data protection regulation hit United States in May. I don't know any real estate agents that have gone to a training on that except the ones that were my training here in Austin earlier this week. But that affects all of us. We have got to be so transparent. We've got to be from engagement stage to the freemium to the privacy policy. If you're collecting email or phone, your privacy policy now has to explain how you're going to use that phone, set expectations. It has to be expressed permission and not implied permission, which is a whole new level for all United States companies, because we can't fly under the radar. It has to be front and center. And what I've been noticing, and it's not just because this data regulation is from Europe, it's now part of our U.S. system. I've seen this trend. You look at Gary Vaynerchuk of a couple of years ago, the thank you economy. You look at pretty much anything Seth Godin is. I think Seth Godin is an alien from the future. He is just so good at predicting permission-based marketing, like a decade before everyone else started doing it.
So in this transparency, permission-based marketing world, what do you predict is going to be the next are the next few platforms that we need to be concentrating on?
Video, 100%.
Video.
Video, and as far as the platform video resides on, it's Facebook and YouTube. They are both advertising companies.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing is you can create a video and have 3 places for it: YouTube, Facebook, and an email software like BombBomb that can deliver email without you having to get technical on the screenshot, thumbnail of a video player, host the video somewhere, build a landing page that matches the exact copy of they do that.
Yeah.
Video, if it was an IPO, I would go put all my money in it. It is so important. You look at Instagram,
mm-hmm.
all the millennials that were pissed off with the trust issues and lack of transparency in Facebook, they went to Instagram.
Yeah.
Or Snapchat. I don't know how to run real estate in Snapchat. If you figure it out before I do, let me know. But Instagram, owned by Facebook, which is kind of ironic, does let you run advertising to the exact same demographic within Instagram, but it's video. I had to fix my dishwasher the other day, and I'm not going to Google anymore. I went to YouTube and I searched the model number, how to fix dishwasher. 3 YouTube videos later, it's like that old movie, The Matrix, where I need to fly a helicopter, call into the main hub, load in the 8-track helicopter training, and boom, you're flying a helicopter. That's how these millennials operate. I got 2 of them in my kids, and it's just like, so when you say what are the most important platforms, like you mentioned, text messaging, it's instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter will call me once a day and she'll say, "Dad, will you please tell Mom to use her technology, turn on her phone?" I'm like, she's driving on a highway at 90 miles an hour. She can't text you right away. But that is what we are becoming accustomed to. I mean, I did a post yesterday on my Facebook timeline. I had problems in the morning. A new furniture gift from family dropped off. Heavy glass shelves. Didn't have the little things in there to support the pegs.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to Amazon and find out the pegs designed for the 1/4 inch with the little buffer to keep the glass from being scratched. And then I was hosting webinars yesterday. My dogs were running around like maniacs. I'm like, I'm on Amazon. I had the pegs ready to go. It said, upgrade your order with another $20 of same day shipping, which is amazing. Instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking dogs, webinars, and I put like a dozen pig ears in the basket. That shows up at my house like 4 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
Wife comes home, furniture put together, dogs are happy.
Mm-hmm.
Webinar is fine. Instant gratification. We experience it not just on internet, but that is the expectation of communication from now on. There have been Harvard studies, MIT studies that show the same. They expect to be contacted within 30 minutes, and your conversion rate, your ability to have a conversation, if it happens in that first 5 minutes, it's like 2,000% more than if it happened or you try to follow up 4 hours later. MIT study from, I believe, 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Google said that in 2014, they did a survey on the housing industry. Those that used the real estate agent did 2/3 of the survey respondents researched the agent extensively before ever making contact. So you wonder why people register on our websites and then they don't return their phone call or the email. They Googled you.
They Googled you.
And that was 2014. Add 5 years to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably higher than 2/3 of consumers. And that goes to the persuasion thing. And if you build a funnel, and it takes a little more time, but if you go through this checklist and you're providing the right content at the top of the funnel, communication through the middle, it's all relevant to them, they're expanding that market for you. That is your advertising budget. You love on your minimal viable audience and you give them awesome things. You pick up red carpet treatment take care of your raving fans. And in the end, it will become lifetime clients, which is the last letter of the funnel.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference that I've made with this book is I put the E for engagement at the top. That will go a long way from something going to court and being a lawsuit. Can't guarantee it will keep you out of a lawsuit. But when they know you, like you, and trust you, and you have a track record with them, or you come to them from a like or comment from someone that they know and trust on Facebook, it transfers to you. You build it over and over again, and you print it out. And for everyone on this webinar, I'm going to go back to one of my first domain names. It's called Krum E Realtor, KRUM, the town I started in. E as an electronic, and then Realtor, Crummy Realtor. If you say it real fast, it sounds like a different meaning. I kind of did that as a joke.
.com.
That will take them to a Google spreadsheet where they can put their first name, last name, email, and I'm going to set them up in my membership site for free called Funnel Club. What that means is they get the book, they get the workbook, a digital form, they get my frequent webinars. I do like at least 4 live trainings a month on this topic because it's so important. They get access in a Facebook group that I run specifically for business owners to learn how to build their business systematically, growing the database through 7 easy steps: engage, freemium, upsell, newsletter, nurture, expand, market, lifetime client.
Did I spell it right there, John?
Exactly right.
E Realtor. Okay.
I started in Crum. I was the geeky guy, the E in Realtor. And when you say it fast, it sounds like crummy, like crumb. But I didn't use that one. It was actually.
Sometimes you gotta have a little shtick, but you've also got disruptive, right?
Yes. I just.
That's a lot of value, John. Thank you so much for giving that. And I know you've got a big Zoom call today. Can we give them a how to get into that?
This way, friend me on Facebook. Follow my timeline. I go live on my timeline on Facebook at 2:00.
Okay.
I'll have some visuals. We'll go through the 7 steps.
And that's 2:00 Central.
2:00 Central.
Yeah.
There's 7 steps to become a transparent agent. I'll give you a little bit of history of what's going on with technology and regulation, but then we're going to spend the rest of that 90 minutes breaking down those 7 steps and how it affects. When I talk about engagement, we'll talk about the different social media channels or software or places that you find engagement. We'll talk a lot about the freemium, because if you're not getting that freemium out there, you're like every other real estate agent driving traffic to their property search website, and 1 out of 100 is going to register. What I want to see with the freemium is you're getting at least 10 out of 100 that you drive to that free giveaway to register.
Awesome.
Then your value positioning, upsell, and then the newsletter. And if you still want to send them to your website, that's a great best practice. But go with a higher opt-in now, especially if you're doing advertising, you're new in the business, because what was costing 25 cents a click 4 years ago on Facebook is now over $1. Do you want to drive $1 per click to a website and get 1 out of 100 to register? You need 2 out of 100 to get a real person, and not Fred Flintstone. Do you want to spend $200 for one conversation, or do you want to skip the funnel and every click is a conversation in Messenger or chat, or sign up on my calendar for a 15-minute phone call?
Right.
You're kind of looking at a $10 valuable, they know us persuasion lead versus $200, don't really know me, didn't have a big brand presence when they registered. You call them and they might say, this is spam, take me off your list. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Even though they registered on your website.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I know you have a lot to do. Is there anything else you want to tell the audience?
No, just the best thing you can do if for any reason that domain doesn't get you on my Google Doc, and I already see some people logging into it, just follow me on Facebook. I'll have more information there later today when I go live again in about an hour.
Awesome. Thank you, John. This was a pleasure to talk to you as always. And I just appreciate all that you've done for my audience, and I'm sure that your audience as well. You know, so we'll see you at 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central Time. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Susan.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you soon.
Okay.